In the new country of Panem that takes over North America, one thing reigns supreme: the Hunger Games. Over the course of 4 movies, we learn about the hardships and struggles that go along with living in a society that pits kids against each other to their brutal deaths. We learn about the luxury of living in the capital, not having to worry about being sent into the arena or not having enough food. Today, we're going to take a look at the morality of these characters and see how challenging it is to be a good person in this dystopian society. To our contestants, may the odds be ever in your favor. I'm Kyle with WickedBinge, and this is the Hunger Games Good to Evil.
May the odds be ever in your favor.
As usual, we'll be starting with the most pure and working our way down. These characters are the good. Our gold medal of good goes to Primrose Everdeen. She is Katniss's little sister and the person who accidentally sets this all into motion when she's called for the games.
Primrose Everdeen.
Even though Katniss takes her spot, she does everything she can to help her sister, being the emotional support that gets Katniss through a lot of drama. She takes in an abandoned cat to save its life, she helps around the house since their mother doesn't do much from her depression, and even though she was quite young, she helps the rebellion as a medic even if it does kill her. She's just a sweetheart, and nobody deserves this spot more than her.
We're with you.
We decided that Rue deserved the silver medal of good. Rue is only 12 years old when she gets into the games, and she takes the route of hiding. She helps Katniss take out some of the careers and gives Katniss advice, despite knowing that both of them can't walk away from the games alive.
We need a signal in case one of us gets held up.
She taught Katniss the popular whistle, and her presence is felt in the rest of the series, even if she isn't there to see the rebellion go down. The bronze medal of good goes to Peeta. He works in the bakery with his parents and had no problem sharing bread with Katniss and her family. He and Katniss work together to stay alive in the Hunger Games, and he's even willing to die instead of killing Katniss.
Lois has to die, they have to have their victor.
He is okay with having Katniss get taken out of the area while he's taken to the capital. And even while in the capital, he gives clues to Katniss about what to do. We don't give him the gold or silver medal of good, however, because of the brainwashing that the capital does to him. While not entirely his fault, he does try to attack Katniss a few times. He also teams up with the careers in their first Hunger Games. While that might be a good strategy to survive, we do have to knock him down a couple of points for teaming up with some of the villains in the first movie for a short period.
She's gotta come down at some points, that or starve to death. We'll just kill her then.
Our main hero, Katniss Everdeen, is next. Katniss takes her sister's spot as a tribute in the 74th Hunger Games, demonstrating her loyalty and willingness to sacrifice.
I volunteer as tribute.
She's the first character we see to stick it to the game makers by shooting an arrow through an apple when they don't pay attention to her. She tries her best to take care of Rue and saves Peeta from Cato. Before the 75th Hunger Games, during the private session, she paints a dummy of the last game maker and hangs it, showing her disapproval of this game. Katniss takes her role as the symbol of rebellion and helps to kill both President Snow and Coin. She's against having a Hunger Games with the children of the capital, as she thinks that it's too much and too cruel to them even after 75 years of Hunger Games for the districts. She retires with Peeta and has 2 children after everything is over. From these acts, it seems like Katniss should be higher, but Katniss is, well, kind of rude and arrogant at times.
You never make it easy, do you?
She snaps at Peeta and Effie a few times, she leads Peeta and Gale on, and while she might really like both of them, she doesn't really give any closure until she marries Peeta after the Civil War. But most of her problems are just that she's short-tempered and sometimes rude, and doesn't mean that she doesn't deserve the praise for being the hero that she is. Next on the list is Effie. We really do believe that she is a good person, even if she's ignorant at the start of the series.
You realize that your actions reflect badly on all of us?
She reads off the reaping that shows who goes into the Hunger Games. She works hard to make sure that Katniss and Peeta have the support that they need. And when she has to draw for the third quarter quell, knowing that Katniss will be the woman sent back into the games, we can see that she's visibly upset to do so. She offers support to Katniss after the Capitol and District 13 abandon her in the Mockingjay movies. She's been trained since birth to think that the Hunger Games are okay, and her arc of realizing the evil evil of the games is one of the most compelling in the series. If you're on Team Gale, you'll be happy about the next spot. Gale is Katniss's best friend in District 12 and her other love interest. Gale puts his name in the drawing for the Hunger Games more than usual so he can get more food for his family, and slips out of the district boundaries so he can hunt for food for them too.
How many times did your name in today?
42.
Gale offers his support to Katniss throughout the first two movies, and when it comes time for District 12 to be bombed, he helps to get everyone that he can out before getting himself to safety.
Me and a couple of guys from the mines, we started pulling people from their houses.
Gale joins the rebellion as a soldier and does what he can to save the districts from the capital's rule. One of the best fashion designers in the capital before he's killed, Cinna should be next. Cinna cares a lot for Katniss and tries to make her feel as comfortable as possible.
To Katniss Everdeen, the girl on fire.
It seems a lot like he also isn't comfortable with the Hunger Games and gives Katniss the Mockingjay dress that ends up getting him killed. He works his hardest to make Katniss and Peeta stand out so they can get more support for the crowd and hopefully some more sponsors. We're gonna throw in Cressida here next. She's a resident of the capital and a director who joined the rebellion alongside her camera crew. She impresses Katniss with her bravery as she and her crew get footage of the Mockingjay despite the danger. Her fearlessness in combat is fueled by her desire to capture the detail of the war around her on camera, so that she can help unify the districts against the capital. Probably the smartest person in the series, next we have BT. He agrees to help get Katniss to the arena and uses the metal tree and a wire to strike the tree with lightning.
We don't want to be anywhere in the vicinity when this hits.
In Mockingjay, he makes some new weapons for Katniss, Gale, and Finnick, and hacks the Capitol to put out rebellion propaganda. What knocks him down a bit is his willingness to create a Capitol-specific Hunger Games, and he agrees with Gale to blow up the inside of the Nut in District 2, knowing that it will kill District 2 peacemakers and innocent civilians.
You have contributed so much to Panem over the years.
Moving on to Finnick. Finnick comes off as very arrogant and not a very good person.
Have a good day.
Later on, he describes to Katniss that when he won the Hunger Games, he was prostituted out in the capital, and that's what gave him his wealth and kept his family and girlfriend Annie alive. He helps keep Katniss and Peeta alive and fights to get Annie out of the capital and to free the districts from them. He takes great care of Annie, as after she won her Hunger Games, she suffered severe PTSD and needed constant care. It's unfortunate that he died, but he died a hero and we can't forget him. Moving on, we have to give a quick mention to Thresh. He's strong and resourceful and posed a serious threat during his time in the Hunger Games. Most importantly, he demonstrates empathy for Rue and integrity when he decides to spare Katniss for her actions.
Just this time, 12. For Rue.
That said, he's also shown to be quite brutal, but you can't really hold this against him all that much, given the fact it's a life or death situation. Overall, we don't know too much about Thresh, but he demonstrates honor, which lands him in the good category. We think that Mags should be on the good list, even though she doesn't do much. Mags takes Annie's spot in the 75th Hunger Games, and it's clear that she has a strong relationship with both Annie and Finnick.
She's actually a wonderful lady.
She realizes that she's slowing the group down and eventually just walks into the poison gas to die so the rest of them can live.
We have to get out of here.
She's a sweet old lady and proves to be selfless. Next is Wyrus. Wyrus is the female tribute from District 3 in the 75th Hunger Games. She's incredibly smart and is part of the plan to get Katniss and Peeta out of the arena. Unfortunately for her, she goes mad in the first part of the games and is killed by Gloss pretty quickly. She doesn't do much, but she is the first person to figure out about the arena being a clock, and she does agree to help bring down the Capitol while she's still sane.
Wyrus, you're a genius.
Last on our good list is Joanna. Just like Finnick, she was prostituted out to the Capitol to save her family. She's quite mouthy just like Katniss and lets her feelings known during the live interview portion of the 75th Hunger Games.
But now, you want to kill me again.
She fights to end the Hunger Games, though she can't really do much in Mockingjay because of her injuries. Her attitude also knocks her down a couple pegs as well, and she's also one of the people who votes to have a Capitol-only Hunger Games later on as well.
What if we set your backyard on fire?
With the good characters out of the way, we now move into the neutral territory. This is the gray area. First up in the gray area is Haymitch. He is the mentor to Peeta and Katniss, but it's clear when they start that he doesn't want to be.
Arrogance can be a big problem.
We learn that he really hasn't been training the tributes sent to him because he doesn't think that they have a shot. He's an alcoholic whose attitude rivals Katniss, which is probably why they end up getting along so well. He sends Peeta and Katniss supplies throughout the first Hunger Games and becomes an important part of the rebellion. The plan to get Katniss and Peeta out of the arena even started with him.
Give them something to root for.
His alcoholism and unwillingness to train other tributes does knock him down a few pegs though. Next is the head game maker for the 75th Hunger Games, Plutarch. Plutarch helps to get Katniss and Peeta out of the arena and even gives Katniss a tip about what the theme of the arena is with his watch.
This is the revolution, and you are the Mockingjay.
However, he uses Katniss for propaganda a lot in Mockingjay and was assumed by Snow to be a part of the bombing that killed Capitol children and rebel casualty aides, including Prim. He's more than willing to let innocent people die if it furthers his cause, which docks him quite a few points. The next spot on our list actually goes to a group of people, most of the smaller Hunger Games players. This spot includes Foxface, Wolf, Cecilia, Shafe, Cedar, and Blight. We don't really know too much about these characters to rank them one way or another. And although we don't really see any righteous acts from them, they're just kids trying to stay alive and we can't fault them for it. Our last spot in the gray area goes to Mrs. Everdeen. She's not a bad person, I suppose, and is just someone who's suffering from depression after her husband was killed. Suffering from a mental illness isn't something that should knock someone down in morality, but what does knock someone down is their inability to take care of their children.
No matter what you feel, you have to be there for her. Do you understand?
She pawns the responsibility of taking care of Prim onto Katniss for years, considering their dad died when Katniss was only 11. Having her daughter have to act like essentially a mother before she's even a teenager can have a huge mental toll on a child. And with that said, we now move into the dark side. These characters have little to no redeeming qualities and are just downright cruel. These are the bad and the evil. First on our list of evil is Mrs. Mellor. We don't see all that much of her, but from what we do see, she's physically and verbally abusive to her son, Peeta. We don't see anything of Peeta's father, but if he's anything like his wife, it's a miracle that Peeta ended up being the kind and caring person that he is after everything that he's been through in his life growing up. Next is another group of characters, the careers from Districts 1 and 2, Marvel, Glimmer, Clove, Cato, Gloss, Cashmere, Brutus, and Enobria. These characters act as some of the main antagonists in the first two films. The careers from Districts 1 and 2 get excited for the Hunger Games and spend their lives training to kill and win. They get an evil spot because unlike the other people put into the games, they aren't just trying to survive, they want to kill.
It's too bad that you couldn't help your little friend.
They enjoy the sport and think that it's a great honor to play in the Hunger Games. The previous head game maker, Seneca, deserves the next spot. Seneca works on the games to make them as entertaining to watch as possible, which basically means that he comes up with cruel ways to kill the tributes. He's this low on the list because, as stated, his job is to kill people and make it look entertaining, all while receiving a nice paycheck on the side. Pretty straightforward why he's an evil guy. He eventually caves to the demands of Katniss and Peeta to make it so two people can win the game from the same district.
Everyone likes an underdog. I don't.
Unfortunately for him, this gets him killed, but it sways the events of the series to lead to revolution. Our bronze medal of evil goes to Romulus Thread, the new head peacekeeper of District 12 in Catching Fire.
Let's get to work.
He's very loyal to the Capitol and is unflinching in how strict he is when enforcing the law. We first see him beating Gale for trying to stop him from attacking an elderly woman. He beats Katniss for trying to save Gale. He's airlifted out of District 12 before the bombing in Mockingjay to save himself and leave all the citizens and some of his employees to die. The silver medal of evil goes to President Coin from District 13. On the surface, she seems like an honorable leader, someone who just wants to take down the Capitol, but deep down she's just as dirty as Snow is.
Our moment has
has arrived.
She tries to execute Katniss's prep team and Effie. She wants Peeta and Annie killed instead of saved. She drops bombs on innocent civilians and her own citizens to frame the Capitol, and she starts the idea of bringing the Hunger Games back to the Capitol to make them pay.
She intends to take my place now.
Her rule could have been just as vicious as Snow, and she shows no remorse for the crimes that she commits until her death at the hand of Katniss. And finally, our gold medal of evil goes to none other than President Snow.
Kill the wounded.
Snow killed any political adversary he had, and even poisoned himself so it wasn't suspicious.
Order shall be restored.
He keeps the Hunger Games going to paint a message to the districts. He kills Haymitch's family because of the way that Haymitch won his games, and threatens Joanna's and Finnick's families if they don't do what he asks. He kills his employees if they don't follow his exact rules. He had Cinna killed for the Mockingjay dress. He refused to call off the games even after the Capitol citizens cried for it, and intentionally had the third quarter quell stacked so Katniss would have to go in for a second time, giving her almost no shot at winning if it wasn't for the plan to get her out.
I want them dead.
There was no rule about the same district members being able to survive, so either Katniss loses by dying or loses by killing Peeta.
Only one victor may be crowned. Good luck.
He truly is an evil, heartless mastermind, and his time as a politician and ruler over the Hunger Games shows it. But what do you think? Who are the most good and evil characters in the Hunger Games? Let us know in the comment section below. Make sure to hit that notification bell and binge our Good to Evil playlist, where we break down the morality of the characters in your favorite cartoons, shows, and movies. But most importantly, stay wicked.